Hello everybody, my name is Kurikara, welcome back to another video. Today in this one I'll be doing another card analysis video, and in this one I'll be covering why Kurikara Divincarnate is worth over $55 and if it's actually worth buying. So yes, in this video we'll be covering one, the price point of Kurikara Divincarnate, the effect, advantages and disadvantages to the card, and if it's actually worth buying. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. But before we can get into the video, let's actually cover the price point just real quick here. So we're on TCG Player. We're not going to be going by direct TCG Player, never do. So these are going to be the first ed cards here. So as you can see, versus verified sellers about $55, about going 55, goes 57. So yeah, more likely around $55 for Kurikara Divincarnate. So yeah, let me just make sure this page, if this page goes to 60, but cheapest you can get it is about $55. So yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Now let's cover the effect of Kurikara Divincarnate. So it's a level 1 Fire Fairy effect monster with a 1500 attack and 1500 defense. And effects read as follows. Cannot be normal summon / set, must be special summoned from your hand by tributing all face-up monsters on the field that's activated their effects this turn in your opponent's monster node. Gains 1500 attack for each monster tributed to special summon this card, and then during the end phase you can target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to the field. You can only use this effect of Kurikara Divincarnate once per turn. So that is the effect of Kurikara Divincarnate. Let's get into the advantages of Kurikara Divincarnate. Now on to the advantages with Kurikara Divincarnate. So one, it tributes monsters that activated their effects this turn. So basically, if you're going through your going second and you're going through your board and they're activating monster effects, all of a sudden this can just hit the field, kind of clear their field, and all of a sudden you got plays to start doing as well. Two, it's a summon that does not cause a chain, so meaning it cannot be responded to, which is very, very good. And since it's a summon that does not cause a chain as well, it's not a once per turn to special summon this card as well. So if you either have multiple copies of this card, or if you just happen to get returned back to hand or something, you can just re-special it out onto the field. It cannot be responded to since it is a summon condition, so your opponent cannot do anything in the response. It's not an activated effect, so very good there as well. It gains attack for each tributed monster on the field as well, so meaning it's already at 1500 attack. If you tribute two, it's a 4500 attack monster, which is very insane, so it can help you kind of OTK your opponent as well. Also, during the end phase, can monster reborn one of your opponent's monsters as well, which is very good. Imagine tributing something like a Baron or like a Dragoon, for instance. End phase, steal that card, and all of a sudden you have a negate as well, which is very, very good. So those are the advantages with Kurikara Divincarnate. Now let's get into the disadvantages. Now on to the disadvantages with Kurikara Divincarnate. So, one, does not do anything turn one. If you're going second, it's just a card that sits in your hand, and your opponent basically just gets able to combo off because it's just a card that sits in your hand doing literally nothing. If you're going first, it's even more of a dead card because one, it's not helping out doing your combos, so it's just a card that's sitting there. And two, during turn two, when your opponent's kind of interacting with your board, still does not do anything. So if you're going first, this card is not live until turn 3. So kind of an unfortunate thing there, so it doesn't really do anything going turn 1, so going first, you really don't want to see this card. Can only tribute monsters that have activated their effects this turn. So this is a disadvantage thinking of other cards. Let's say they have something like a Baguska, a card that, you know, switches everything to defense, and let's say you just don't have an out to that. Since Baguska is not an activated effect, Kurikara Divincarnate cannot out that card. So unfortunately, those cards like that it just cannot interact with. There's also unaffected guys like the Agonister Link 5 as well, where it just sits there as an unaffected monster, not activating an effect. So it's kind of just an asshole that, again, Kurikara cannot out because of that reason. And 3, your opponent must activate a monster effect before it contributed. So this is what my thinking here is. So basically, let's say you're going into a board with like Apo, Baron, or Savage or something like that. So 1, you have to wait for them to activate those effects first. So basically, your opponent is going to get advantage off negating something on your... so let's say you activate something, they negate it. Unfortunately, Kurikara, you have to wait for them to interact with your field, so meaning you have to play your hand out before you can do Kurikara Divincarnate. So meaning they get to waste their negations before you can Kurikara Divincarnate them off the field. So that is another disadvantage as well, is you kind of have to play your turn out before you can do Kurikara, so your opponent can activate something in that instead. So those are the disadvantages. Now let's get into the if it's actually worth buying. So is Kurikara Divincarnate worth buying? Maybe. So this is always the one thing I get into these videos with the card analysis videos is it actually worth buying? So obviously it's a very good card. Obviously there's a reason why it's worth $55 and why a lot of people want it right now is because it's a very good card. But let's say you're a budget player or something like that, where $55 is a lot and you want to consider maybe is there other options. And there is kaijus that kind of do the same thing. There's also Golem and Sphere Mode, but we're not going to be talking about those in that because those are separate things from what Kurikara Divincarnate is doing, because Lava Golem and Sphere Mode can only be played in certain decks, so we're going to take those out for now. So we're just going to be talking about kaijus, because kaijus kind of do the same thing what Kurikara Divincarnate is trying to do. So the advantages to a kaiju is, 1, you get to immediately do its summon, because it doesn't matter for its summon condition. You just tribute one of your opponent's monsters to summon the kaiju, meaning you can kind of interact. Let's say they have a Baron that's a problem, you can just go get rid of that Baron, and all of a sudden you can start doing your plays and stuff like that. While Kurikara Divincarnate, you have to play into Baron actually activating an effect before you contribute it off the field. But the advantage with Kurikara Divincarnate is, 1, it's tributing a lot more monsters than what a kaiju contribute, because you're tributing all their monster effect they activated. 2, it summons to your field, meaning it can kind of help you OTK, especially since it's gaining that attack. And 3, you obviously get one of your opponent's monsters in the end phase as well, while the kaiju just kind of just gets rid of one guy, and you still have to do with whatever they have on their field as well. But with the kaiju, you can get rid of their negation before you play into it, and then you can start doing your plays in that case. Another thing for that is, well, kaijus are so much more cheaper. Maybe Gameciel is kind of the most expensive kaiju out of all of them, but like basically every other kaiju has a structure deck reprint, so you don't really have to worry about buying those because they're pretty cheap anyways as well. So is it actually worth buying? Well, I mean, it really depends on what you're scared of. If you're scared of a really intense combo deck, I would play Divincarnate, because you would just play into it, tribute the entire field, go into a battle. I mean, you can do a shit ton of damage, and then you still get something like a negation during the end phase with like a Baron or something like that. And that's not including if you have anything else after that as well. But 2, if you're really wanting to go cheaper side, you don't really want to spend that much money on Divincarnate, then obviously the kaijus are really good as well. Now, bringing back the Lava Golem Sphere Mode kind of debate, obviously there are really good cards that Divincarnate cannot really compete with, but the problem with Golem and Sphere Mode is they have that restriction where it basically takes up your normal summon. So if you're a deck that relies on your normal summon, you cannot play those cards. Obviously, if you don't need your normal summon, and that's very few decks, obviously those cards are so much better than what Kurikara Divincarnate's going to do, but there's very few decks that can take advantage of Lava Golem and Sphere Mode, so meaning Kurikara probably wins out in that department as well, because Kurikara can be played in any deck, unlike Golem and Sphere Mode. So is it worth buying? It's a very good card, so if you really want to spend the money on it, then yes, it is a very good card that is worth purchasing. But there is other options you can consider, like the kaijus, the golems, and the sphere modes in the meta as well. Triple Tack kind of comes up to mind as well, but I just decided to keep with the tributing kind of thing. So if you want to buy it, if you have the money, it is a very, very good card. I would not blame you if you did buy it, because it is a good card. but I would not blame you for not buying it either and going for the cheaper options in the kaijus and stuff like that. So yeah, that was it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more content on the channel, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.